If you're looking for a way to speed up your sales cycle, I'm going to go over a few different examples of how you can do this at all stages of the pipeline or the funnel. So even if it's the likes of attention, where that person hasn't actually yet raised their hand and given you their information to actually become a lead, and then when they are a lead to actually then become a prospect, as in basically someone who wants to talk to sales or wants to hop on a call or is happy to look at your offer doc or sales page, whatever it might be. But essentially, to move somebody from attention to becoming a lead, as in giving you their details so that you can contact them, and then from moving to a lead to a prospect, meaning that let's say they're a hot lead. Then again, these terms are interchangeable depending on how you operate your business. But the only way to move somebody from here to here to here is through trust. And there's loads of different ways that you can actually gain that trust. So it doesn't matter whether you're here, or whether you're here, that person needs trust to go to the next stage. And of course, the next stage from here would be to actually close that particular person and convert them from prospect into revenue. So there's lots of different ways that you can do this. I'm just gonna run over a few in this particular video here, okay? Now, these can be displayed, as I said, at any particular time. On the likes of the attention side of things, of course, you don't have as much control when somebody can see something like this. Now, there are ways around this, but in most cases, you don't have as much control here. You have a lot more control when you actually have that person's details. But regardless, what you can do is, let's say that's on your website. That person is, let's say, searching for a particular solution, and you are the people who provide that solution. Of course, if you put SEO on your website and on your socials and AI overviews and ChatGPT results and all that sort of stuff, then of course you show up in the attention side of things. Now, I'm not going to run over how to show up in all those sort of things today. That's a whole topic for a whole other section, but let's just assume that you are able to grab that attention, okay? So what you can do then on your website is you can show the likes of your reviews. Now, reviews are great. Not only on your own website, but in most cases, most businesses, there's a particular type of website where people go to, okay? So for example, if you were a restaurant, of course, there's particular websites that do reviews all about restaurants, okay? If you were let's say a marketing agency, there's websites that are specifically for that. If you are let's say a software company, there's websites that are dedicated purely just to that, the likes of G2, Software Advice, and Capterra, I think is another one. So again, there's always going to be something that's very specific to you. Again, those particular companies or those particular reward websites, I think, do also give rewards and different things like that as well. Again, it's going to be different depending on how your business and your industry operates. But again, if you are attracting those kind of people, they know who that particular company is, they know who that review website is. So when I say reviews, I don't mean Google reviews. As much as Google reviews can be great and helpful, Google reviews more so kind of help local businesses. But if you're in kind of a B2B situation, well, more so you want to be actually on those websites where you can actually get those kind of reviews as well, okay? Now again, there's ways that you can do that, which is one of the ways, we actually teach our clients in A3 how to do this automatically as well, and to get those reviews and only good reviews on those particular sites as well. So if you want to learn more about that, you can check that out in the link in the description. So the next one then is your results. So this is a very easy one as well, because people will only ever work with you because they want results, okay? They want a particular outcome. They don't actually care about the deliverable of what you actually sell. They just want the outcome of what that deliverable gets them, okay? So by showing the results on your website, again, that particular person has immediate trust. Again, so they see your reviews. Yeah, again, you can take those reviews and you can embed them on your own website. You can take the results that you've gotten for people. You can have screenshots or you can have graphs or whatever it might be. Again, depending on what it is that you actually sell to people, you can have those sort of results as well. Now, the results kind of slash case studies as well. So another one here is case studies. And again, the more over time that you build these up, the more it just becomes a case of, here we have this case study and this one and this one. Now, you don't have to put them all on the one page, but what you can do is you can display a couple of them and you can have a page on your website all about the case studies. Basically, it just means that it says to these particular people here, this is not this first person's rodeo. They've done this before for a lot of people who are just like us, and they were able to get the results that they wanted as well, and therefore those people left a review. So all this kind of goes in together as well, okay? So case studies, results, that's kind of slash proof there as well. Now, again, these kind of work with, it doesn't matter whether that particular person is just looking at your site for the first time, they've just found you for the first time, but let's say that they didn't see any of this sort of stuff, but they did have enough interest in whatever your offer was to actually become a lead. Well, that particular person, then you have their information. So when that person is a lead, you have their email contact. So what you can do is send them valuable email follow-ups as well that kind of help solve their problem, but obviously not enough to where they don't need you. It's just kind of little snippets, little kind of golden nuggets that they get, but obviously if they want the full thing, they have to buy whatever it is that you're selling. But that same person, they can be sent the reviews, they can be sent the results, and they can be sent the case studies. Because what you're trying to do is you're trying to get that person from becoming a lead to a prospect. And the only way that they'll do that is by having enough information and enough proof, essentially, that you'll be able to do that for that particular person. Now, it's the exact same thing when that person becomes a prospect as well. So let's say that they've booked a sales call. What you can do on your sales calls is just before them, when you send out your reminder email, so let's say you've won 24 hours before the call, you've won 1 hour before the call, and you've won, let's say, 10 minutes before the call. You don't have to just send the same automated email every single time saying, hi John, your call with us is at this time, here's the link, and then the same one the next time and the same one the next time, okay? You can edit these, and a lot of businesses don't know this, but you can actually edit these to say, again, hi John, our call is at so-and-so, just thought you might want to see some of our reviews from our other clients that we've helped deal with this before. Again, that just has that person already believing, yes, you are the right people and I'm more excited to hop on the call to solve this. Otherwise, a lot of people just feel like they're getting on a call to be sold to. Again, if they're kind of, let's say, shopping around and they're talking to you and multiple other competitors as well, well, they're probably not doing that, the competitor side of things. So you show up on that particular call immediately as a lot more trustworthy. Now, again, even if you're not doing a call, even if it's just sending people to an offer doc or a sales page, whatever it might be, and again, obviously try and include all this sort of stuff on your sales page as well, but include it in your emails as well as on the sales page, because people will forget this sort of stuff. Like, you have to reiterate this sort of stuff to people again and again and again. So again, they're able to see the reviews, then in the next email follow-up, whatever it might be, they're able to see results / case studies, all that sort of stuff. So it's essentially a case of, it doesn't matter what particular stage of the pipeline somebody is at, that you want to just be having trust put in front of them constantly as much as possible, okay? Now, let's say that you're at a stage where you haven't actually got that particular person as a lead yet. Because again, let's say that particular person was just, again, let's call it shopping around, okay? What you can do then is, because again, that person's, they're on your website or they've seen your socials or whatever it might be, but even though you don't have their information yet, what you can do is you can actually just retarget those particular people. So let's say that this is your website, and you've got your hero heading up here, and you've got an image here, and you've got some text here and all that sort of stuff. And that person's gone through your website, and they might have even seen some reviews. They might have seen some results. They might have seen some case studies. They've seen all this sort of proof, okay? Well, one of the great things that you can do, especially in this day and age, is just retarget those particular people, okay? So even if they haven't become a lead yet, what you can actually do is, whether you're retargeting on the Meta platforms, on LinkedIn, on TikTok, it doesn't matter, okay? But all of those platforms that I just mentioned, well, they actually have lead forms. So what essentially that means that person can do is, because, and by the way, you won't be wasting any revenue on this, because the only people who are going to see that is the people who've already been on your site. So you're not going after cold audiences, you're going after, let's say, lukewarm at this stage, okay? So essentially the lead form, and again, you get to decide how this lead form is created, but essentially it just means that, yeah, a little ad will pop up on whatever particular channel that particular person is on, and it'll just keep them on the platform, which is what those social media platforms want. And it'll just say, are you interested in this particular offer, which they've already seen before, so we already know they're interested. And again, your creative here is in the pictures that you're using, could be your reviews, it could be a carousel of your case studies, it could be, again, just putting proof in front of that particular person. Now, that kind of stuff works better when they're already a lead, but again, for the attention side of things, if before they've become a lead, there's other things you can do as well. So you don't have to use these as your creative immediately. But the point I was making is, all those platforms allow you to create a lead form. So when that person does see your ad, again, they don't need to leave the platform. All they need to do is just click a button, and in most cases it's pre-filled, because these platforms already have their information, and it's just your name, your email, and a little button that says submit or enter or whatever the form says, okay? Now again, it's pre-filled because the platforms already have these people's information. So you're making it as easy as possible for that person who was maybe had a little bit of a browse on your site to actually then become a lead, because whatever way you have this hooked up, and again, it doesn't matter what CRM you're using, pretty much every CRM in the whole world now, that they will integrate automatically with the likes of Meta and TikTok and LinkedIn and all that sort of stuff. So all the information that you gather here, your name and email, that goes straight into your CRM. And when they're in your CRM, obviously you can set up different tags or automations or whatever way your CRM is set, so that when that person does become a lead, that they go into an email sequence, and that email sequence, like I said earlier, it shows them all of this sort of stuff to just put more and more trust in every single day. So I know that because I've gone through everything here, it can look a little bit confusing, but essentially the point I'm making here is that it doesn't matter whether they are, let's say, cold, okay? They're lukewarm, they're warm, they're hot, it doesn't matter, okay? The way that you push somebody through every single stage of the pipeline, and again, going from prospect into closed, which is again, converting them from a prospect to revenue, that it's just trust. The whole thing is just trust. That's all that it is. So even if you have the likes of content you can send these people, again, that's really, really helpful because that person then can see how you do things differently to everybody else, or even if you do it, let's say kind of the same, you'll be able to have your own kind of spin on it. But again, they want to make sure that you are the right people for the job. And again, that's all that this is. It's just trust and trust and trust. So if you want to see how we help our clients build trust automatically using a lot of the sort of stuff that we just mentioned here in the A3 system, you can actually have a look at the first link in the description.